What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology retail in action. We're back with the Clash of Immortals here. This is, technically speaking, the losers bracket quarter-finals. So we have the losers bracket quarter-finals. Whoever wins this one goes on to the losers bracket semi-finals, and then we have the losers bracket finals, and then that play would go on to the grand finals. So that's how it works. In the left-hand corner of the map, in the blue color, playing as Gaia, his name is Magic. His opponent today in the red color, it is King Kimo. And he's going to be showing us some Isis on this auspicious of occasions. We do have the map. Map visibility standard, map size standard. We have the map Bamboo Grove. I was hoping it would say that there so we could all see it together, but unfortunately don't have the technology. In the bottom side of the map, some relics to go over. Let's have a look. We got the arrows of Alpha. Over here on this side, we have the feather of Bifang. Going to be boosting up. Let's taste. This is a new one here. This boosts up human soldiers' damage versus buildings. Very, very nice. On the top side of the map, there is 9 cauldrons there, boosting up those Migdol units. Really good for Isis, to be honest, on that one. And finally, there's Jade Hair with movement speed plus 5% of base. Now, let's talk about these two players because there is a lot of history here. Magic and Kimo, these guys go back many, many years. I want to say probably 10 years ago, maybe even longer. Further in the past, they started playing each other. And when Kimo started playing Magic, Magic was already one of the greatest of all time. And Kimo was trying to pull himself up to that level to get games off of Magic. And Magic would let him know that he just wasn't able to do so. He was letting him know every single time. And slowly but surely, Kimo's level got there. And then he started becoming very, very competitive with Magic, taking series off him and all of the good stuff. And up until today, it's always going to be one of those matchups that you just don't know who's going to be able to come out a victor, because honestly, they both have a very similar style, very defensive orientated, macro orientated, playing for specific situations in a game where they can use their skills to have success. And when both players are playing that way, you do get some very, very specific games. So we'll see how it's all going to go, because, you know, Gaia here for Magic, very defensive. Isis, I think once upon a time, Isis might have been considered a defensive god. I don't think that's the case in Retold at all. Very, very aggressive god, in my opinion. That being said, it's normally a 2-town center aggressive sort of god. So if you can get the second town center up in a nice spot and launch an attack off of that position, it can be very, very powerful. As I've got these things the wrong way around and I fixed it. Yay! As we see Bast coming through, it is Bast for Kimo. He's also going to be getting himself the Hands of the Pharaoh to pick up some relics here. Over onto this side, Magic dropping himself the Gaia Forest here. Now, I just want to talk a little bit about something very small you can do as Gaia to get some very, very safe situations. So something very small against, say, Greek, against, say, Egyptian, kind of against China as well, is you can actually wedge your citizens here on top of this town center and then click Gaia Forest on top of it. And that's going to surround those citizens there. And then you can just chop down the trees and then you can drop the town center up. And there's no way for a Sphinx to harass. There's no way for a Minotaur or heroes to harass. They have to attack the town center, of which they're not going to be able to outright kill. So if you want to go for that, go for it. You know, it's an option. It's a little bit risky against some civs, but hey, it's an option there. As we see military barracks getting dropped down for Magic, second town center already on the way. And in classic Kimo style, he's going to be going for what he knows, what he's good at, and all the good things that come with that. As the settlement here is going to come up, the Cladria will be spotting that. And the weirdest Carnivora I've ever seen gets dropped down. I have to imagine that was a bit of a misclick there from Magic. Imagine he wanted to put it on the town center. It doesn't really do a whole lot when there's a Pharaoh Priest and a Sphinx here anyways. But nonetheless, the town center is going to complete over here. The town center is going to be completing onto this side here for Magic as well. It does take quite a while to get this one up if you're playing as Atlantis now. I think their citizen build rate was bugged a little bit. This is part of the reason why they were actually having a lot more success inside of 2 town center play than otherwise. But nonetheless, I mean, you see how many villages that Kimo brings. He gets 8 villages plus a Pharaoh to empower. realistically, if you're going to bring that many villagers, you should be finishing your town center first. And he does do so. And Magic's not going to be that far behind him. He did get to the classical age faster and all the good stuff that comes from that. As over onto this side, Kimo is being incredibly greedy with this move. He's on these spotted deers up at the top here. Magic is not going to know this. He's got his military barracks out already. He does make a Hero Mamillo, but if he's looking at the map, he's got to be thinking, okay, where could the villagers of this town center realistically be going? This is the point of the game where you really want to be getting some good damage done onto an ISIS player, onto an Egyptian player. Where could Kimo realistically have his villagers? If we take a look at the map, he could bring them back over onto the berries here. You could have them on this gold mine here. You could have them on this wood line or on this wood line. You could have them on this gold mine. There's nothing behind here. Does Magic see that? Magic doesn't actually know there's nothing behind here, but maybe he could make a guess on that. But yeah, he could be on this gold mine. He could be on this forest here. He could be on this gold mine, or he could be on this hunt. And the Caladria does spot that. The double Caladria actually in. The Oracle is over here as well. And do we see any units coming out though for Magic is the next question. Answer? Oh, not really. Not really. One Murmillo here to come through. This is going to be nice because he does have the Caladria here to heal up if he does this correctly, which unfortunately he kind of misses that one, but trying to keep it alive here as the villagers will surround, and that's not going to be enough as Kimo does manage to hold. So a little bit of a lesson learnt there from Magic. He did kind of misuse the burst heal, double using that onto one Murmillo as Nephthys is now on the way for Kimo. And I imagine behind this, Magic is also going to go for the Heroic Age. This is something that, you know, Magic's been pretty vocal about this in terms of just like what he thinks about the game. But I think in this situation, he really could have said, you know what, let's go away from what I think the meta is and maybe try and punish what my opponent is doing here. If he had a couple more buildings out, maybe come in, push off this food a little bit faster, he probably would have been able to deny the Heroic Age. He probably would have been able to come in here, deny these gold mines, and then force the Migdol over onto this side, then hit the classic, then go for the Heroic Age a little bit later. But nonetheless, he's going to be into the Heroic Age now. He's going to have his Thea. He's going to be able to make those Contarias if he wants to. But more importantly, I think, for Gaia, is those Catapeltes. But then that, if you do go Catapeltes, that does then give the... As we do see a couple of raid coming in, trying to take off the Pharaoh. Is he going to get it? So close. So close. He's got 3 HP and he is down. He's down. The damage is in. The Caladria is doing work. Let's go, Magic.
Scopos.
But all the villagers will clean up the rest of this. Oh, one more burst heal as the two Murmillos will end up going down. The Caladria are also going to get taken down here if Magic's not paying attention as the Migdol Stronghold does get placed. Wouldn't be a bad idea to actually drop a Carnivora here at this point because... why not? You can deny that Migdol Stronghold a little bit as well because there's not the Pharaoh there. But nonetheless, a couple of those military barracks to come down. And now Magic has to sort of scout. So too does Kimo, but Magic has to scout what units are coming out of the Migdol. Is this going to be Camel Riders or is it going to be Chariot Archers? If we look at the resources, it's going to be a little bit of both, which does mean Magic might want to go for something a little bit different. As you do see Ancestors Eclipse getting dropped onto the economy. I'm not surprised to see this in the sliders. This is something that Kimo's been doing quite a lot. It's really powerful. It delays a lot of economy for a very, very long time. No hero units in the base here for Magic as the citizens trying to garrison and get back to safety. The Stymphalian Bird will be getting some good damage done here. If Magic wants, he could be popping these villages out already and trying to just min-max the defense as a Hesperus Tree to come through. And the rest of these will be going down. But the damage is done here. Now the question is behind this, what's Kimo going to go for? He's got the Town Center, he's got the Migdol, he's got the Monument over here. He's got gold incoming. He hasn't used his Prosperity just yet, but he can. Is he going to throw another... He's got a whole bunch of farms to come up here, a whole bunch of goats remaining. I wouldn't be surprised to see him just go to the Mythic Age here. Given the way that Magic has played this, it makes the most sense at the moment. I think, yeah, if Magic had played a little bit more aggressively, there will be no real possibility of any sort of Mythic Age. But a couple of units will be coming out. And I just don't think there's like the timing here for Magic to get anything done. But he's going to try. He's pumping out a whole bunch of Contarius. And let's just say, okay, let's ask a question. If there is nothing here that Magic can do right now against this fast mythic of Kimo. Kimo's going to drop another Migdol Stronghold here as well, as his Prosperity is working overtime. What would be the best move? Well, it's probably you just grab that third town center, spam buildings out, making sure you get both the military barracks and the counter barracks, and then just be like, okay, what are you actually doing? Are you going for Son of Osiris? Are you going for Thoth? And then, okay, if you're going for Thoth, great, we can pump out a whole bunch of catapulties. If you're going for Son of Osiris, okay, we've got to be careful about that. The Son of Osiris and the heroes, but we can take it a little bit more time, and we can then heroize our own units and then try and take a good fight. But at the moment, all the Contarius are coming out, and I would be very, very surprised here if Kimo doesn't just go straight in to a whole bunch of Camel Riders. Now, Contarius plus Dryads are always very, very powerful, so we'll see how those are going to go. As more Contarius, more Dryads starting to come in. Villagers getting sniped onto this position as well. Over here, Contarius into the main base, searching for villagers to kill, as the villagers will turn around and start shanking. He doesn't have himself survival equipment just yet. Now, queuing that one up, as 2 villagers down for 1 Contarius, as the Contarius managing to retreat out. Over onto this side, he does spot all of those Camel Riders. You've got to be so careful. The Camel Riders do counter these Contarius. They do 2x versus Cav, 8.8 damage per second. This is doing 12.6 damage per second, so you can see there's a hefty differential there. But the upgrades aren't in for Kimo just yet, so Magic will have somewhat of an advantage here to break through. As the Priest's getting that damage onto the Dryads, Magic gonna have to retreat back. He's now grabbing himself that third town center, and the more I look at it, the more I'm like, I wish he'd just grabbed that before he started pumping units. But nonetheless, catapulties are on the mind here for Magic. He's getting himself that weightless mace tech in the main base. Still just picking off some straggler units here, going after the villagers nicely. Kimo defending pretty well here, but those Contarius are going to get picked off. More Contarius into the main base. Is this town center the one that's going to the Mythic Age? Yes, it is. But do you click Meteor onto these Contarius, or are you trying to save it for the town center? Because Magic is looking for all the damage you can possibly do here, but at the moment he's just not really finding it. Whole bunch of villagers here to take out, but he's going to have to retreat back. Valley of the Kings to come through. The Pharaoh is now in place, and that's going to be a big boost as the Contarius do find some villagers over here, as they're just going to be retreating back, moving over onto the ball here for the time being. Still no heavy Camel Riders in just yet, as a whole bunch of Arcus to come through for Magic here. I think he might have gotten a little bit spooked about potentially, I don't know, some Axemen or Spearmen to come through, but not what's happening at the moment. A couple of Catapulties will be in to defend, as the Meteor now coming in onto the main base here. Will he take out the town center or not is the question. How many villages will he take out? Does pick off the town center, picks off a handful of villages, but all in all, I think Magic's going to be pretty happy about the lack of damage he really took there. 1 town center and a couple of villages, that's not the worst thing in the world there for him, as the Contarius to retreat back. But that being said, it looks like to me Kimo just defended everything really well, and Magic has not been able to find himself that advantage that he otherwise might want.
Into you.
As the Camel Riders looking to poke in over here, looking for raids. Magic does have the nice walls up on this spot, over on this spot as well, onto this gold mine, out onto this location here, grabbing the berries as well, taking full advantage of the map where he can. Now, the big thing here is for Atlantean, like looking at the score, it's so crazy in favor of Kimo, but I don't think that's like a real score lead at the moment, so to speak. But it's all going to get equalized when these units actually start taking fights. But I think the unit composition here that would be ideal for Magic to build is this Catapulti Contarius idea. But if you're playing from the ISIS side, well, what do you got to build then? Do you have to get out your own Axeman out, or are you just going for your own Chariot Archer Camel Rider and just trying to micro? It's very, very tricky. But a nice fight here for Magic to kick this one off, as the Stymphalian Bird going after the Phoenix though. But the units of Magic are falling. His Arcus not really cutting it here against the units that are out for Kimo. Now Kimo's at champion Camel Riders, as he can dive into his palace over here to get away. 180 population for Kimo at the moment, as out he pops onto that side, doing the garrison micro as best as is possible there, but his units are just lacking here. Let me just take a look at the economy here. He's missing pickaxe, or not pickaxe, he's missing shaft mine, he's missing irrigation. Kimo, on the other hand, he's going to have all of his upgrades already, almost guaranteed. He's only missing, well, he's missing the bow saw there, but up to quarry already as his camel riders breaking through this palace. And Magic is now in an incredibly tough position. He's trying to spam out these catapulties, which will beat champion camel riders. Medium catapulties with enough numbers are going to beat those camel riders, but he has to get those numbers out. That's the tricky part. There's more counter barracks to come through. He's still got a handful of goats left over here. As the town center does end up falling, the archers are going to go down behind that, and Kimo's now able to get himself his third town center at 200 population. All the economic upgrades coming through, all the armory upgrades as well, bronze weapons on the way. Wouldn't be surprised to see him move forward and drop like a siege work series, now transitioning into some barracks to make axemen and things like that. As the catapult is now wandering forward, trying to get that damage on a couple of hero archers. Now on the way. There's the Phoenix here. Looking like it's going to get sniped down by the heroes. As that front line of Kimo, I mean, even though Magic is so far behind on military, the front line does look like it's kind of going down. The military resource differential is actually in favor of Magic there. And that's the fight that I was talking about. It's like these catapulties go hard. They go very, very hard. And now Kimo has to pull back. But he is making axemen out now. And that's where things get difficult for Magic. He's already sort of prepared for it a little bit by having the Arcus out. But even so, the control needed on the catapulties to make sure everything's attacking the right stuff or just not getting attacked is very, very important. But the bigger problem here for Magic is that Kimo losing that fight doesn't really matter because he's going to be back up to full population anyways in a jiffy. As all the camel riders falling on the front. Yet again, Kimo not able to make it through, but he will be taking himself a 4th town center. So it's going to be 2 town centers to 4 town centers. And we see Implode coming through. Atlas is on the way for Magic. So this is a big, big power spike here for Magic to bring him back into this game. I don't know if he should be really chasing these chariot archers out of this base here. They hit really hard against what Magic's got here. Champion chariot archers versus these unupgraded or medium archers, so to speak. They're very, very powerful here. And now Kimo very graciously going to be putting a whole bunch of farms down onto this town center. Potentially Magic can try and break through there and grab those back. If he can somehow hit this timing, get max value out of his implode, we'll see if that's going to be possible or not. And that's the thing there, it's hard for Kimo as well. He's got to control those axemen beautifully. You can't just A-move your army against the army which Magic's got. And Magic can't just A-move the army against the army which Kimo's got. You have to really control basically catapults in one group, archers in the other group, and just controlling very, very nicely there. We'll see if he can continue to be able to do it as he's getting close to that full population here. Atlas is still not quite in, so he's got to hold for just a little bit longer. Kimo at the moment probably could start considering to split up his army. Looking to hit the gold mine at the top side of the map, looking to hit the gold mine at the bottom side of the map. But at this point, just going to continue to push forward here as those axemen are now doing some work here as Magic now going to get himself the heavy archers. So that does help out quite a bit as the army now charging forward. Kimo retreating away from this base as he does drop the implode in. Kimo not going to be able to retreat away from this one. Magic setting himself back, and the population for Kimo will drop down an insane amount here from 240 over 100 population of units killed in that implode right there. And this is Magic well and truly back in this one. However, he still needs to get his economic upgrades. He still needs to get his military upgrades. He still needs to get his town center back. We'll see if he's going to be able to figure this one out. One palace up onto this side. Love that. If you can get some walls in here as well and get some fire siphons to take the town center down, that would be very, very good there. As he's now pushing over with his army to potentially take the town center down. But Kimo's now got himself fortified town centers. 192 of 280 pop. It's going to be a while for him to get to that. We take a quick look at what he's actually got. He's got 3 Migdal strongholds. 3 Migdal strongholds, and that's it. And he's got barracks as well. He's got 8 barracks, so he can pump out those axemen, but is that something he really wants is the big question. The big problem, though, however, is that the camel riders are managing to come through and snipe those Arcus on the retreat. However, Magic is still sitting at a decent amount of population. Is he getting himself out of siege? Yes, he is. 1 fire siphon, but he doesn't have the wall up. He doesn't have the defense for it, so it might not do a whole lot. He's into the center of the map. Arcus still getting some good value, but Kimo's army is now starting to get scarier and scarier. 120 population to 80 population in terms of military here is an insanely big deal. Town center surviving with 1,000 here as 1 fire siphon in the palace getting prepared with some more destroyers. I like this idea from Magic. You might be able to catch Kimo out with that push as the Contarius slowly breaking through here. No micro from Kimo here. A little bit un-Kimo-like, so to speak, as the destroyers are now out, but Kimo has noticed this immediately. A couple of elephants here as well as fortified town centers with what looks to be architects in. Or is it just masons? Yes, architects is also in. So that town center is up to 3,840 HP. Going to be very tough to kill that one. Over onto this side, we've got the magic raids coming through, distracting Kimo left, right, and center. As Kimo now ready to push forward, now taking out Arcus and everything else. As the camel riders getting some good value, but do end up falling yet again versus the catapulters and everything else there. The Kimo's now creeping closer and closer to this full population. 270, 200, he's at 280 population now. His army is gigantic. Magic is trying to cause problems all over the map, but Kimo's army is gigantic. At this point, there's not really a whole lot that Magic can do. Like, if Kimo deletes half of his units, then sure, maybe. If Magic can get up to 350 favor here to potentially pick off this entirety of the army again, then maybe he can kill off a town center. But he's got to get there. He's only got 2 oracles. It's going to be, even with 10 oracles, it's probably going to take, I don't know, 15 minutes to get to that 350 favor. It's a long time. Nonetheless. Kimo now ready to push forward. Army overwhelmingly powerful here. Siege also on the way. And it really doesn't look too great for Magic at this point. There's more Dryads to come through. Watchtower for Magic on the front here. Going down. The defense is starting to get limited here. Kimo is losing units, but he's still up by 100 population. So he's going to be able to get those back out. He's now got himself what looks to be 4 Migdals. 4 Migdals pumping out, plus the Valley of the Kings one as well, I'm sure. It's still going there. So this population is just going to continue to spiral out of control, as well as a couple of elephants starting to come through for Kimo to help breaking down buildings. The last-ditched effort here for Magic. He's getting himself a temple. He's getting himself his Gaia Forest over there as the catapult breaking into this position. Up on this position is the last gold mine which Magic has here. He does have a trade route going, but that's just going to be cutting into his population for military in a way here, of which he really can't afford. I love the Magic grind here. He never gives up, never surrenders until he knows it's completely done. But I just don't see anything from this moment here that he can do to bring himself back into this game. There's too much population differential. The army differential is also big. The Arcus here will get some big damage done onto those chariot archers with that spit there. But the army for magic falls, and then Kimo can start targeting down the main town center. And calling it a day here. Is there any siege coming in for Kimo? He's making siege towers. I'm a bit surprised to see the siege towers. Normally, if you have access to catapults, you just build catapults. The magic trying yet again to break through on this spot. More dryads to come through. All the catapulties getting taken out. But now with heavy war elephants on the march to take down that main town center, I'm not sure if the catapulties by themselves here are going to be enough. As up on the top side, the villagers getting the wall back up. Kimo spotted the final gold mine, and losing gold here is going to mean no more military production. But to be honest, Magic is still trading really well. He's still trading really, really well here. And part of that is because he's got all these dryads really bolstering up the low population. If he's got 10 dryads, it's like he's got an extra 30 population out, roughly. They're not exact. I would say they're about 3 population apiece, so it's closer to like 240 to 280 pop anyways. But with no gold left on this spot, and then also the market going to be going down. The citizen over there goes down. Some houses or manors on this top position also going to be falling. Towers now coming up for Kimo on the front. Kimo is clamping down on this game. And the trade route gets denied. Magic does have 900 gold in the bank for the moment here. As he is managing to get... Man, he's not getting the population droppage here. Kimo is more than happy to make these trades happen. He's got himself 6 war elephants coming out with the Pharaoh empowering this on the front. So that's the max amount of value you get. 162 food, 63 gold, and a lot of power there as champion elephants now queued up to have that carnivore to get dropped down. Okay, we're not paying attention on the top side here. We can move over and just whack down this mat. There he goes, moving the siege towers in as well. He can whack down the stone gate. He can kill off the market, do whatever he needs. Kimo still holding on to his advantage here as Magic getting set back for the time being. As the market is now down, the gold is still really high for Magic. Actually, he's back onto a gold mine over here, but that's now expired. He can sneak around onto this gold mine, actually. There is still an angle here for Magic. It's, as much as it sounds crazy to say, there's still an angle here for Magic to try and bring himself back into this game. But as the Baluster Tower is coming up, and as all of this pressure is mounting, like the towers here are worth like 4 population in and of themselves. And he's just going to get more and more on this position. Magic's going to need something to deal with this. Is he going to try and sneak onto the gold? No, he's not going for it. Kimo doesn't spot it. He does have a market or a mining camp queued up, but he hasn't sent anything over there just yet. And Magic is not aware of that. And in not going for that gold mine, that is going to be game over for Magic in terms of gold income, as he's got his trade routes set up over here, but still getting raided by a handful of Migdol units. As the military numbers fall on the front, the gold falls in the bank, and the reinforcements will start to get bled out here. As now the catapults Kimo feels safe to build the catapults out with this many towers. The villagers on the front did end up falling, so he didn't finish this tower, but one more tap there and it will be up. And also the chances of stealing this gold mine for a little bit starting to become impossible as Kimo is walling that in. Magic down to his last little ounce of gold. The Contarius coming in yet again, but going down just as fast as they rush in here. Remember these Contarius, they are very cheap. 34 gold a piece isn't much, but it is a lot when you've got no gold income. Where's the trade route at now? Does he even have a market? He's building one. Oh, it's over here. No, it's over here. And that's the game. As Kimo manages to hold on. A bit of a grind here to finish this game off. But, you know, Kimo, he sort of went with his strategy. I think Magic knew pretty much deep down what Kimo was going for here. But I don't think he read the map. I think that was the big problem. He didn't read the map. He didn't realize that there wasn't any food for Kimo. All the food is on the bottom of the map. If Kimo went for this town center, it would have been a completely different story. It might have been very, very tough, if not impossible, to come through here and raid this. Though that being said, even if you grab this bottom town center, you can still swing down the bottom here and then hit this food over here, hit this food over here, and all the other stuff. But on this side, there was just nothing. It was just barren of anything worth grabbing. All of the resources from this town center were out in the open, which means huge angle for classical age aggression, whether that be with Terma or with Murmillo. But Magic goes for the far second town center, and he can't really take advantage of that. And then after going for the far second town center, he kind of half goes for aggression with one barracks and some Caladria. And Kimo realizes this, and he's like, I can just turn around and shank. Villagers are pretty powerful. You got to kind of commit to something. You can't really go half on one strategy or half on one idea and half on another idea. If you want to push off a resource, you go push off that resource and then do something else. But first game for Kimo, well played. And we'll move into game number 2 and see if they can keep it up. Alrighty, we're into game number 2. This time we're on the map Ghost Lake, and we've got Magic playing as Thor. And in the right-hand corner of the map, we've got Kimo playing as Uranus. Yes, another Ghost Lake map and a little bit of the fun times here. Magic has been pretty good with his Norse, actually, throughout this tournament. I'm excited to see how he's going to play this one, because a lot of the Atlantean players have been having a lot of success versus Norse in this tournament. Now, it is recent in terms of, like, players kind of sort of getting how to play Atlantean versus Norse. The Karabalis debuffs helped out a ton with a gaping hole inside of a gaping weakness, so to speak, for the Atlanteans, which is an ability to actually deal with infantry sort of effectively. Now that's with the buffs to the Karabalis. Now I'm not exactly sure what sort of style Kimo plays with Uranus anymore, so we'll have to wait and see what he's going to go for. But the general idea is Hero Karabalista using Valor is just value central. It's mass value. You make yourself like 2, 3, 4 Karabalis. You spend 4 Valors on them. And all of a sudden, you can't really make Berserks anymore. Which is the powerhouse unit for Thor. And if he can't make those, then he has to make something else. He's going to go for raiding cavalry. He's going to go for throw an action. He's going to go for, well, not even throw an action. He's going to go for raiding cavalry or Huskal in order to beat those Karabalista. Now, I do recommend the Karabalista. I think the Huskal. That's like your best bet, because there's the only unit that has like a gigantic multiplier that's hack damage versus the Huskal is the Fanatic, and it's just impractical to get that unit out most of the time. Especially with Uranus, you have to wait till the Mythic Age. With Gaia and Kronos, you can get that one when you go through Rhea. And get it a little bit earlier, but even so, you're still building from the palace, so still very, very tricky. But we'll see how the game's going to go here, and we'll see what sort of strategy Kimo's going to go for. Now, there's still the old strat, which I think was actually... Everybody disagrees with me on this, but I actually thought that there was like an angle for Uranus without using the Karabalista when it was kind of trash in going for Oceanus Murmillos. The angle was advance a little bit later to the classical age, getting yourself your economic upgrades, and then going for double Murmillo Terma. And once you get basically all your armory upgrades, your unit's just beating up on the mass berserk sort of idea. But yeah, we'll see what he's going to go for. He's going for the Prometheus angle, which is pretty much standard, I would say. But the question is, where to from this? Now, you can go for a whole bunch of Prometheans here. You can go for, as I said, the Chiroballister. In fact, Chiroballister Promethean is really, really powerful. You'll have to forgive me. My back, I did my back the other day. I got beat up by a big, bad basketball Deuterino. And now I'm in pain. I'm going to be doing these ones a bit. Wow. But nonetheless. Yes. You can go for like Chiroballister Promethean. Which, how do you beat that? You can't make Hersa against the Chiroballister heroes. They're just going to kill off the Hersa too quickly. It's just like, oof. There's this big problem for Norse. And even then, even with Thor being so good at building Hersa, Thor is like the best Hersa builder in the game to some degree. Obviously, Loki's got his own sort of advantages there, but Thor gets all the upgrades early. Thor's also got this Hammer of Thunder tech, which helps out a ton, getting extra favor. Even though he's got that, yeah, the Chiroballister are just going to make mincemeat of those Hersa, and then the Prometheans are going to go to town. Nonetheless, Kimo is grabbing himself his hammer, his Theft of Fire. Is he going for a town center here? You're kidding me. He is unironically going to town center against Thor. This is wild. Obviously, with the late advance here from Magic, he's not going to be able to deny this. What does this town center get, Kimo? Not a whole lot. Berry Bush is on the forward position. He's got Hunt over here. He's got a decent gold mine behind the town center, but that's very raidable. Very tough to sort of wall this all off over here. We pop over here into the main base of Magic. He's throwing down a longhouse. No surprises there. I imagine he's just going to go in for those berserks. Does Magic spot this? This is going to be the big question. As the Promethean to come forward. Scouting out everything. Over here. The berserk. Looking to get some damage done. There is a Valor on the way. And being underneath the town center, no problems here as Magic pulls back. Doesn't want to lose the berserk. He needs to get that scouting information in. We'll see what he's going to find. Whoop. Whoop. Stealing some goats. Stealing some goats. Junk. And he's out of there. You can't be losing goats. No excuses there as Kimo's now onto this gold mine. And Magic has not spotted a single military building just yet. So he probably could start to guess that there's some shenanigans afoot here. As Magic says, all right, if you're going to go to town center, I'm going to go to town center. That's just it. I don't care if you're not going to attack me. I'm happy to boom. We know each other already. If we're going to just have a boom off, that's fine. I know Magic is going to be very happy here. I do think this is not in favor of the Uranus, of the Atlantean in any way, shape, or form. Going for a 2-town center against 2-town center. But we'll see if he can make it work. The reason is because of those Huskar. And realistically here, Magic can actually just go straight to the Heroic Age, plant down 2 hill forts, and there's not a whole lot that Kimo can do here. Unless he wants to go for like a Mass Murmillo and try and push straight away here. Mass Murmillo Prometheans, get out a whole bunch more Oracles. He's only got 2 of them at the moment. Oh, sorry, 4 of them at the moment. So he's built 1 extra, which I love. If he gets a couple more of those, he might be able to just stick it out in the Classical Age and get that pump going on Murmillo Prometheans, which also is decent against the Hersa, right? Because Hersa do die pretty quickly against the Murmillos with only having 32% hack armor. It's pretty low for an infantry unit. If you take a look at the Berserk at 42% at the moment, and this is one of the more bare infantry units. Doesn't have himself the Dwarven Breastplate just yet. So he's not got the extra HP on that one. There is the Promethean here. He'll be retreating back. Another angle here for Kimo is just to get to the Heroic Age and then straight start to make himself out immediately a whole bunch of Arcus. But Magic is not going to be waiting around in this game. I love this. This is much more decisive than the last game. He's just building units and he's going to attack these sorts of weak positions here. Over on this spot, picking off these villages is going to be a little bit tricky. But, you know, there's villages here, there's a gold mine here, there's chickens here, there's a gold mine here. There's so many openings here for these units to actually get damage done as the trolls coming through. Magic is ready to attack. He is not staying back here at all. It's not going to be a fast, heroic two-town center situation here. All the villagers retreating back here. He's going to start repairing this one up. He's got to get some military over here. He's now building the Murmillo. One hero citizen going down as the villagers popping out, trying to snipe units. This is just so much damage onto Kimo. This is exactly what I want to see. Big shockwave onto those back units there, but this is not going to be delaying anything here. There's another citizen to go down. More of these berserks going to be coming through, and I'm sure he's going to be able to get this technology relatively soon. He has the favor for it now. Dwarven press plate, such a big one. Town center almost down here. As what else has Kimo got? He's got himself 4 Murmillo, a healthy amount. But, you know, I mean, is this going to be... This isn't really enough underneath this. He's going to be sniping down the thrown axeman on the back here. Is his Murmillo to come in. The villagers popping back out to start repairing this up again. Magic is losing a lot of military for this attack, but Kimo is losing more income because he's got all of these idle citizens here. He's popping out, starting to shank, trying to garrison. He's got himself some valors remaining, 66 favor in the bank at the moment. The town center doesn't go down, but Magic has kept Kimo in the classical age. Kimo does have himself out now, Caraballister. This is big. Magic spots that, immediately getting himself out a raiding cavalry, which he's going to need to deal with those Caraballister. But, you know, damage is done. Kimo is now well and truly stuck in this classical age, and I would say he is much further behind than he otherwise might have been. Like, if this had been much more of a defensive play for Magic, not going aggressive, Kimo would have been able to get Heroic Age, probably would have been able to go for a whole bunch of Arcus and have a really powerful Arcus Murmillo comp, and Magic's comp here would just feel really, really rubbish. But because he's kept Kimo in the classical age, now all of a sudden, it doesn't feel so bad as the army all coming back in. Hero Caraballister is in on the back. A couple of those raiding cavalry immediately going after this. There's no units around this one to defend. There's a Caraballister to fall. Another Caraballister on the other side going to be going down as well. Military population here 50 to 12 as all of Kimo's resources looking incredibly bare. This is like seeing 16 villages here. 16 villages idled. So much economy idled here as the town center goes down, and Kimo going to attempt to retreat out of here. If he loses these villages, the game is effectively done. 2 down, 3 down, a 4th villager going to be going down. There is Shockwave available, but I mean, that's not going to do anything. And 10 minutes into the game, Magic finds his victory here, and Kimo taps out. That was the dominating Magic play that I've grown to know and love. Just complete decisiveness, understands what he can do, and he just goes for it. Kimo, on the other hand, I don't think he really got the scouting information that he needed. I think he was kind of like, oh, I don't know what he's doing. I'm going to go to the Heroic Age. When in reality, he's got to build units here. I mean, staying in the Classical Age is ideal. I would say for Thor against Uranus, staying in the Classical Age for Uranus versus Thor is ideal. Just because you've got the Caraballister, just because you've got the Valor, and just because you've got the Catapultis as well. Making Murmillo, when you go Prometheus, doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. You can just go Caraballister, Catapulti, Prometheus. And then that army comp is so obscenely strong versus Norse that they have to start saying, okay, well, at least you can't do anything to me because the Catapultis don't do any damage to villages or buildings. The Caraballister can't move that quickly. I'll pull back and I'll go Heroic Age and we'll find the next sort of fight. So there's an angle for Norse as well there. But, you know, they have to make the right calls and things. And in this one, Magic made the right calls. Kimo didn't. Game is now 1-1 apiece. We'll move into game number 3. Hope you guys are having fun, and we'll see you in the next one. Alrighty, game number 3. This one is now on the map Arena here, as Magic is going to be grabbing up the Shenong, and Kimo going with a little bit of spice here into the Kronos. Oh, what a time to be alive here. We've got an Atlantean versus the Shendong. Everyone's saying this god is so powerful on this map. I've been having a lot of success with Shendong here. We'll see what Magic's going to be able to pull out, and if Kimo's got any sort of strategies here to make things work. I do like the idea of the Chronos. One idea is, well, you can sneak a Oracle around onto this side here, maybe. But maybe not, but sneak an Oracle in here, and then you can potentially time shift some stuff into the back of this base, and you can start harassing the wood line from inside the base. That's one idea. Taking a look at the map. You see all the black space at the back here? There's potential. Don't knock it until you try it, okay? Don't knock it until you try it. But so far, 1-1 in this best of 5 series here. The winner goes on, the loser is out. So it's very important at this stage of the tournament to get those wins. But Magic in that last game showed a very, very different Magic than we saw in the first game, I think. He was very assertive. He was like, this is my strat. I'm going for it. Deal with it. Whereas in the first game, it was more like Kimo said, this is my strat. What are you going to do about it? And Magic was like, I'm not really sure what to do about it. So we'll see if the trend continues here 1-1, and it's going to be a little bit of a trading of who actually goes for what sort of strats, or what else is going to happen. If it's going to be more of the Magic scene or more of the Kimo scene, or maybe both players are going to be very, very specific in what they want to go for, and it'll be becoming a very, very interesting game. Nonetheless, let's talk about some other wild strategies here. So first and foremost, Shenong's plan is very simple. If Shenong can get to the Mythic Age, and Shenong can get himself the Dao Swordsman upgrades, Huang Di, life becomes very, very difficult for every civilization in the game. I think most people are on the side of Shenong is the best late game god at the moment. So what do you do if you're playing against the best late game god? Well, good news is Shenong is kind of terrible in the Classical Age, especially on Arena. There's nothing that he can do in the Classical Age to get any significant damage. He does have the Cheong Chi to get some raids in, but realistically that shouldn't do a whole lot of damage. You're going to be making Terma anyways, a little bit, so you're going to be able to pick that off. 2, what else have you got? Heroic Age. You got Fey Beasts, so you've got to be careful of that. But realistically, what's Fey Beasts going to do if you've got a whole bunch of heroes? You get this really nice upgrade called Heart of the Titans. You can just convert when the Fey Beasts are about to come in, or even before, just way before. Just convert all your units when you see the Fey Beast has been researched. And then you can just put a whole bunch of pressure on. So Fey Beast isn't like an option to defend here against a good plan from Kimo. So what I expect here would be, if Magic is going to want to try and just rush out that Mythic Age, I expect Kimo to hit a timing attack here. And I don't expect Fey Beasts to be any of a bother for Kimo. He should just be able to clean it up and then continue the push. But we'll see if that's what's going to happen, as the Temple coming in here has been spotted by Magic. His Pioneer is in here. He's poking away saying, what are you doing? Please remove thyself from my land. As Kimo, he's ready to put up his own second town center. He's got a second manor on the front here. He can build another manor and put it forward. Generally, Kimo likes to get this technology instead and then go for the town center, as he does heroize something somewhere. How's that? Ooh, a counter barracks actually coming up here. This is a bit different. I guess he sees all of the Pioneers and the Yatsu here, and he says, I need to get a little bit of assistance on this front position. Personally, I don't actually think you do need this. Like the Pioneers don't do anything. The Yatsu doesn't do anything. And what do I mean by that? I mean, if you put a manor here, put a manor here, put a temple here, and get the citizens in front, in the middle of that, then yeah, the Pioneers can attack the citizens, but they're just going to be heroes. And you just finish it off really quickly. But nonetheless, a little bit of a fight to keep the game off, as the Yatsu charging in here. No Valor for the moment for Kimo. He has grabbed this one cheeky little relic here, Hermes Winged Sandals. I love that relic. Really, really nice. As Kimo retreating back ever so slightly, another mana to come up on the front. And there's the valid Terma to come through. Big resource investment in those to charge away at the Cheongchi here. And now Kimo says, all right, it's time for the town center. It's the Cheongchi into the main base. There's hero citizens kind of everywhere, so we can't really just land. And even if he does, then another Val can come through. So it's not like this is going to do a whole lot of damage, I wouldn't say. As we do have a house for magic so that he can place this earth wall down. Nice little micro here from Magic, but is he going to lose the Yatsu? It looks close, and the Terma missing, and the Terma hitting. Nope, he missed. Oh god, oh dear. Oh no, it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare for Kimo. What's happening in the main base? Is he getting attacked? I don't know. I think maybe the Cheongchi died. I don't know. Oh, dodge, dip, dive, duck, dodge. Town center is almost finished here as well. These two hero termers aren't going to stop anything, but he wants to kill the Yatsu if he can. And he does manage to do so. And now with really, really good micro, the Terma will actually be able to win this fight, but he has to, oh, never mind. You have to literally be perfect here. And looks like Kimo's just going to say, all right, we'll say good night to both my hero termers and we'll go to the next part of this game. And so let me just walk through what maybe really good micro would be. Well, really good micro is either maybe if the pioneers are all shooting at a different time, you can't really dodge everything and get an attack off. You can just dodge everything. But if all the pioneers are shooting at the same time, which they will be doing if your opponent is attack moved them all and everything's in range, you can just time it so that the 1.5 second is on cooldown while your units are attacking. And yours attack at 1.8 seconds anyway, so it's not like you're losing out on a huge amount of DPS there. Nonetheless, a little bit of pressure onto this earth wall at the front there as an armor to come down. Kimo, he's going to say, probably time to just go to the heroic age. Now, this is probably not what he was anticipating or wanting to have happen in this game. I think what Kimo would have wanted here is just like a real nice, fast second town center, and then straight to the heroic age and straight to heavy pressure. Now, the other option would have been to go heavy pressure with like automatons and things like that, but that obviously not an option. Nonetheless, units here for Magic starting to pop out. It does have a couple of those Wuzu Javelin Air to try and deal with all this. And I imagine we're going to see Rhea here from Kimo. He could go for the Satyr option, but I don't think Hyperion gives you a whole lot. As those Pioneers, wait, does it tell me? Those Pioneers on autocast there on the lands. If you guys want to do that, it's just Alt Q. Grab your Pioneers, hit Alt Q, and then you're good to go. But do be careful because they will literally put them into the middle of a fight. Oop, and he does snipe one Pioneer. Nice little micro there from Kimo Magic. A little bit too angsty there. If he just runs with the Wuzu Javelin there, he's probably got a better chance of getting some good trades. But nonetheless, now there is the rear. So it's going to probably be a whole bunch of behemoths. I've seen Kimo doing this against many different players before. And we'll see if he's going to be able to make it work. The problem is, as Rasho is coming in, he's going to need an answer to Fey Beasts. And what's that answer? The answer is normally going to be hero units. And if you're going to spend all your favor on behemoths, it's going to be very hard to make all the hero units. So this is going to be a challenge to break through this position. However, that being said, if we could push off this gold mine on the front, that'd be huge. Magic at the moment, he's got himself so much gold in the bank here. He's almost finished up on this gold mine. He's got this gold mine on the back here. So if he could just push off this one, because this earth wall doesn't really do a whole lot. Maybe you can just get the gold starve in, and it won't matter if the mythic age comes through for Magic, because you're not going to have all the gold to get everything out. Nonetheless, a whole bunch of military barracks now coming down for Kimo as the Sky Lanterns flying forward. There's the rear. He's going to have himself Trader as well, so he can steal away a myth unit or two. There is the chillin here he can steal, or he can wait for maybe a mythic age unit like the White Tiger, or the Baihu, I should say. Lots of different options there as an Imperial Academy come in, and I imagine Magic's going to immediately make himself out some of these seers. They're so good at delaying any sort of behemoth pushes. As Kimo is now making himself Contarius Arcus here. And there's already a whole bunch of Dao Swordsmen. And these Dao Swordsmen, they aren't really that strong until the upgrades start coming through, but look at this. Already gilded shields. Oof. An extra 25% reduction in pierce vulnerability as the Fey Beasts comes down. Behemoths targeting them down. It looks like Kimo manages to hold that beautifully for the moment. Not really losing that many units on this one. Over here, the villagers get pushed back. Kimo in a very difficult spot now, though, because he's going to be losing his behemoths and losing any sort of timing that he potentially could have had. As the behemoth... Oh! The trader on his own behemoth to get it back onto his side and removing the death animation. I didn't even... There you go. That's the tech. That's why this is so good. Oh, I love that. Okay. No longer... But he's not going to be able to trade to the Baihu or anything, right? Where is... Is it dead already? Maybe he died. I don't know. Anyways, a couple of Caraballas are also coming out. I like that idea. If you can heroize some Caraballas there. Yes, those... Dao Swordsman are going to be at 48% pierce armor, which is a lot. It's comparable to an unupgraded Huskal for Norse, which is like 50% pierce armor. But still, the Caraballister should do okay against them there. At least a little bit better than the Arcus will. As the Behemoths now wandering forward here. The Tao Wu on the way. As hero units getting turned in here as Kimo has to pull all the way back, it seems. And Kimo here. I mean, I don't think he's got units out. All his army is just fallen. I think he just kind of got caught out of position here, and Magic is just going to be able to do whatever he wants now. He's getting himself heavy infantry. He can't push in onto the Arcus at the moment with his slow Dower Swordsman, but he's going to be getting a battle layup. He can start making some White Horse Cavalry if he wants. The ballet finished, and will we see those? Yes, he's going to go immediately into those as he wants to be able to finish off the archers on the back. He's got gold at the top. He's got units on the side ready to start breaking through this position. Kimo is actually opening up his main base here as well. 100 gold left over there as Magic pulling in, pushing back out, doing all the good stuff here. But 190 population, it's a lot of pop. And those Dower Swords, they're so powerful once these upgrades come in. 1 divine damage now as well. Yeah, it's not exactly 1 DPS. It's like 0.8, right? 0.8 divine damage. But the armor and the HP is so good. Because realistically, you have to shoot and scoot the entire time here. The medium and Milo actually do pretty good against the Dower Swordsman, though. Especially if you've got upgrades for them, like... Mail of Orichalcos, the good kind of upgrade from re-up. And nonetheless, Kimo just can't get himself to population here. His economy, 94 villages on resources for the moment here. Does decide to trade a chillin for the time being, but that's going to go down pretty quickly to the Seer and the Pioneer as well. As Kimo's forward town center getting erased by all these Dower Swordsmen here. And the stone wall gets broken down as the Dower Swordsman sneaking in, ready to take out some villages on this wood line. That's the Chillins. It's wild. He steals the Chillin back, and then he can kill the Chillin with his own Chillin. Wild. Meanwhile, onto the main base, however, raids onto this wood line. Oof. And Kimo too distracted over here to kind of notice it just yet. Meanwhile, in the main base here, Magic is getting himself some of those Shenong farms. He's used that ability twice to get himself just a little bit more food income. He's got himself 41 villagers on food. This is something I was talking about. Like the food for China, it's unlike anything else. You need tons of villagers on food. Absolutely tons. Because you're only getting 0.67 food per second compared over to this, just 1.15. It's like basically double for... I guess it's... Does he have the upgrades? That's a plow. Maybe it's not that bad. Anyways, food situation is difficult. Because the Tau Swordsman here in the main base, getting raids in. Over onto this side. With, oh, there's a Zhu here. Or Zhu? I don't know. This guy, you get this for free when playing Shenong. He's going to come in huge amounts of damage onto those archers. When you're playing against this unit and you see that ability come down, you actually do need to move your units away from it. Because it's going to get damage over time. It's kind of like, I guess, the Argus special attack. Or, I guess, the Nidhogg to some degree. It's a little mini Nidhogg attack there. But Magic here has to pull back for the time being. He's now deciding, okay, it's time for Huang Di. And on the way there, I'm going to put it out there right now. Picking off Yinglong is incredibly difficult. Picking off Yinglong is near impossible. Very, very difficult. That's a ballet getting time shifted or deconstructed there away, and Magic has to pull all the way back. Looks like Kimo's now gotten himself into a position where he can get some damage onto the map, but you know, Magic's on 3 town centers. He's got a nice little position onto the backside there. The Wuzu Javelineer here can now take out the Arcus on the back. He's also getting some fire archers as well. Absolutely love that. And having this bad boy over here getting some extra damage in. But more importantly, this mysterious strategy thing, so cool. Those myth units are going to be 20% less effective in the fights. There's another trader to come through and he gets another behemoth out. I actually really love this, how that works. It's weird, but I like it. I don't know why. Tell me what you guys think. I didn't realize. I did see this happen once before. I think TheMista did it and I didn't notice. But yeah, tradering your own converted myth unit. Good? Bad? I think it's interesting. I think it's fun. Nonetheless, behemoths to take out Magic's town center over here. As Huang Di still not in, as the units have to retreat back here. Those Wusu Javelin not going to be the best, but the fire archers are plenty good to take out those medium Murmillo there. As Magic does manage to surround the behemoth, attacking from the behind, ignoring that armored plating does allow him to take them out very quickly. Plus he's got that divine damage. So he's also getting a lot extra damage against the high, it's not even high armor, but nonetheless. Huang Di is now in as the Yinglong is through. Drops that special ability down, and Kimo doesn't even want to see it anymore. He goes, all right, I'm way too far behind. I'm tapping out. GG. Let's go to game number 4. Well, a well-played game here from Magic. I think he caught Kimo really out here. Like, I think the strategy from Kimo should have been get the town center up. Don't bother with anything else. Like, if you can't get the actual town center, go for a village center and just put it down over here and then push, because the village center is about timing attack. And I think you just have to go for a timing attack against Shenong. I think that's just the way to play. I don't see another way forward. Now you probably could stay one town center here, go mass Promethean, mass Terma, and push and prevent a town center from coming up here against Magic. Magic wouldn't be able to get that because the Promethean would kill the Earth Wall. You break in, he wouldn't be able to get this. He'd be stuck in his base on one town center, and you get yourself an interesting game there. That's another option. But if you're going to go for the 2 town center angle, I do think you have to go for it. You can't go for anything sort of half angled. Do you know what I mean? But nonetheless, well played here by Magic, winning that game number 3. He's got one more game to get into the next round. We'll see if he can make it happen, or if Kimo's going to be able to push Magic till game 5. We'll see you in the next one. Alrighty, we're into game number 4. Magic 1 win from... Oops, let me do this thing. Magic 1 win from going through to the next round. And facing, I believe, spoilers. If you haven't seen it, you should go see it. Facing Kavoth. So going to look forward to seeing if he's if that's what's going to happen, or if Kimo's going to be able to come back here. We're going to be seeing Fushi here from Magic, and Kimo has grabbed himself Zeus, a really powerful god on this map. Lots of opportunity for hoplite shenanigans. Obviously very, very powerful. Going for Minotaurs as well might sound a little bit crazy, but early on against the Pioneer stuff, you don't have to go for many of them. You just get 1 or 2 out to like continue to poke and prod and raid, and then you can get the hoplites out to kill off those Pioneers. Could be a good way to go. But there's lots of angles here for Shenong that's scary. One is going for mass Pioneers, so maybe going for the Athena route isn't actually the best idea. You could go for potentially a Hermes route instead. You can go for Hermes, and you make Hippias, and you get Spirited Charge, and you're going to be able to absolutely torch those Pioneers early on. Also, you could go for Hoplite Hippias. Again, that's not a terrible idea as well. We see that against some Atlantean compositions. It's been pretty good there. But yeah, we'll see how it's going to go. We'll see what angle Kimo is going to go for. Kimo does like his fast second town centers. He likes a nice defensive boomy game. The town centers on this map, however, these aren't good. These are not good for a second town center here. We'll take a look at what the players have spotted so far. Okay, so if I'm Magic and I see this town center out in the middle, I go, okay, that's not grabbable. There's no gold mines close by. It's not good. Over on this side, I see nothing there as well. Unfortunately, I don't see what's behind here. Fantastic gold mine. So this town center here is great for Magic. Kimo, on the other hand, let's have a quick look. Kimo sees this town center, nothing here. He sees this town center, and he sees nothing around it. So this is the problem for Kimo. He's not going to be able to go for a fast second town center. If he does, and Magic goes very aggressive here, life's going to be very, very tough. But Magic is more than capable of just getting this town center and calling it a day on and grabbing this nice, safe position here. But he is going through Chi Yo, and I still think that this god is like head and shoulders above Huang Di, not Huang Di, Hao Tu and Zhen Nu. Those two are the classical age gods. If you're going to go for a regular classical age comp. Now, if you don't, and you're just going for, say, Pioneer Spammage, which is possible with Fushi, then I think Zhen Nu is better. Because it allows you to get out of some problems. If you get caught out, you can just vanish and pull away. Or it allows you to vanish and hit a person, blindside them, basically, and be somewhere you otherwise wouldn't be able to be, and get some big damage done. We'll see which way Magic's going to go for at this point. He's got a lot of villagers on wood, not that many on gold, lots of Pioneers coming out, a house to come down as well. So doesn't put down his Imperial Academy, which I would expect to see get built very, very early on if he wants to get very aggressive. The Machine Workshop's going to be the first building of choice here. The reason for an early Imperial Academy is you can build more Pioneers, and you can get yourself out that Neja. But if you're just going to go for the Machine Workshop, you're not going to be able to get that Neja, but you will have some answers for the Hoplites and things like that. There's Magic poking in here, trying to get a couple of shots off onto the Minotaurs as he's getting snared up, trying to retreat away. The Minotaur does have more speed than these Pioneers here. Is a Yatse to come through. Going to dive in onto that Minotaur. And it looks like Kimo, not paying attention here, able to keep the Yatsu alive, and he's going to have to retreat back now because the Jason and the Heracles will win this early fight. If you don't have Najar, it's not going to be an easy fight to win, as he does sack a Pioneer on the back, and this one as well going to go down. Great start here for Kimo, but now Kimo is going for the fast second town center with nothing around it. And I don't expect to see Magic taking his foot off the accelerator here and going for a town center himself. He can get himself out. Again, he can get himself out the Imperial Academy, get a Nijar, and then he's already able to just run in 5-speed unit to just target things around here. There's nothing really that you can build from the Zeus side of things, except for Hippias, which is going to be able to really chase that down and stop that. But there's just so many weaknesses here in Kimo's position. The berries, the chickens. I just don't think that Kimo really thought about what's going on in this game, and he does have the boar, Well, it's almost gone. But he does have some hurtables in his main base. But he's got a long, long road ahead of him to get to the heroic age, or to get any units out to get himself onto some extra hunts. So he's probably just going to have to farm here. And he's getting himself watchtowers. This is really, really tough now for Kimo. And I do think that even if he gets watchtowers out and Najjar coming through and starting to raid is going to be another big, big problem. Plus, there's also the option for Magic to get a really quick heroic age in through Nubar and utilize the drought god power to help take down a town center. Alternatively, you can just make a whole bunch of fire archers and take out a town center as well. That's a completely valid and strong option. You can dodge the arrows while you're attacking it, and if there's no units there to defend, it's going to go down. It's got 4x versus buildings. If you're doing 5.5 pierce damage a second, 4x, it's going up to 22 damage. You take off 90% of that. That's still like a hefty amount of damage. It's still doing like 2-3 damage a second against a town center. And if you got enough of these fire archers out, all of a sudden you're actually getting some real damage done. Plus, Sky Lantern's now coming through. Love this play here from Magic. That's distracting the town center. So he's able to get in, get some damage, retreat back. He's going to be able to take out the farm there as well. Wow. The fire archers space the town center by like 1 range or something. 20 range versus 17. And he can take out all of these farms around the town center. That's wild. That's absolutely wild. Wow. And he's going for a town center as well behind this. Like, this might not seem like a crazy amount of damage, but in reality, it is. This 75 wood. And I guess Kimo should just be building villagers onto wood over here and putting the farms into his main base. There's no other way to go about it. If Magic's just going to sit in here and keep on sniping farms, it looks like he's going to take his foot off the gas a little bit, retreat back. Kimo's getting himself a whole bunch of archery ranges here. Toxotes do beat the fire archers, but you need to have enough of them. At the moment, he doesn't. Magic's also got enough favor in the bank to get himself celestial weapons, and he can move away from these fire archers into pure pioneers if he wants to here. In the villager differential, pretty close. I'd say this is probably, it is in favor of Kimo here for the time being. That's another farm to get sniped down. He's moving on. Is he going to continue to build these? Oh god. No, you got to stop. He's going to pick off 1 fire archer. It's not worth it if you lose the fire archer. He loses 2. Victory for Kimo. Now this is going to be the really big thing, because you can't just attack move with Toxotes. If there's a whole bunch of lanterns to come in, yeah, you can't just attack move. You have to like focus fire, which sometimes can be a little bit less efficient than just attack moving. But Magic just moving around. He's now going up to the next stage, and he does decide to go through Gormang. And this one, I like this god path a lot more than the other 2 god paths. I think, while I do like Nubar for a big fat Gen Nu vanish into drought into timing attack that catches your opponent way off guard, I like Gormang a lot more in terms of your safe play. This gets you a crazy amount of wood income, which is something you really need with the forest houses. And it also gives you forest protection, which makes it really, really challenging for the Great player to actually push in and kill you. And as we all know, Fushi, right now in this tournament, has shown us many times over and over and over again, and in the ladder as well, and in every other part of the game, there is a certain unit in this game that is it's a unit of sheer focus, really. Sheer determination. It's John Wick. He's here and he will kill off this entire body of Toxotes by himself and more. Sheer will to carry us through. So Kimo needs to make something happen. Basically, that's what we're saying. And he does have infinite bolts, so he could basically just use the 55 favor on bolt recast every single time he sees that unit. That's an option. There's an option there. Ballet coming through here for Magic as he gets this technology areas. Vibrant Land. And research is really quick because he is Fuxi as well. It normally takes 30 seconds on top of Favored Land, all those technologies getting in very, very quickly. As we all get the trees in. And there's the ballet up. Is he going straight to the heroic age? He still has the Peach Blossom Spring here. That's wild. He's still got the Peach Blossom Spring. He's pulled back into his main base. And Kimo, because I think this is all, simply put, this is all come about because Kimo chose to take a town center that is got nothing on it. No food, no nothing. I think if he went one town center here, we'd be in a much, much better position. Nonetheless, it's going to be Gong Gong as the god of choice. A little bit surprised not to see the Huang Di here from Magic. He wants Gong Gong. Not so much for the Great Flood, though I do think Great Flood is very, very good. Especially when you use it in a very specific way. I think Gong Gong is great. But I think that Huang Di... let me finish up. Gong Gong also gets you really cheap heroes. So he's really going into as much max amount of assistance as he possibly can for those heroes. Getting out Neja as well and everything else. Yeah, but when you go through Huang Di, what you get is the dragon, which effectively slows your opponent's units down so they can't run away from your John Wick. The snare plus the heroes, and it's just over. You just can't get away. I don't even care that I'm paying full price for my hero. He's not that expensive anyway. It's only 500 resources. He does go down quite a bit, though, when you get, what is it, Temperous Shaker of Heaven? I think it's Shaker of Heaven. Anyways, we got the ballistics to come through. Magic's just going to be getting himself out of full population army here. And Kimo, he does have Bolt. So long as he uses this and he puts a whole bunch of villages onto favor, I don't think the game is necessarily lost here for Kimo. He's just going to have to keep using Bolt. What's the recharge time on it? 30 seconds? 90 seconds. It's going to be difficult. Sees the unit, tries to kill it off. Can't kill it off. Bolt. Comes back. 20 seconds, 30 seconds later. Bolt again. After a minute. It's got to be the way to go. Military Academy is coming down now for Kimo. He's trying to get everything he possibly can in. 71 villages for Kimo. 61 for Magic. This Magic is just slowly building out the White Horse Cavalry and all the good stuff. He also does get this big fat Qinglong, who is a problem. It is a problem. Hard to kill that unit there. As Kimo says, oh, you're in the Mythic Age, but guess I better attack. As he's charging in right now, there will be an option to get himself Forest Protection here. He does drop that down. And there's that Shaker of the Heavens there. Makes the heroes a little bit stronger. Over here is Tai Chi, making the heroes a little bit stronger as well. And there is the great... Hello? Of all the great floods I've ever seen in the world, that was one of them. Anyways, Qinglong is now in. Units are going to be retreating back away from that one. Magic does manage to hold there, as there he is. Yang Jian. That's the man. Yang Wick. Yang Wick the third. Well, Yang Wick the first in this game. He is coming through and he's ready to get some big fat damage done. As Kimo's got to pull all the way back. Still doesn't have his heavy upgrades just yet. There's the special to get dropped down. Huge amounts of damage to come in. And Yang is in. He does drop in that special ability. And there's the bolt straight onto that one. Kimo knows what he's doing. He knows exactly what's necessary here, but immediately queued back out. 200 food, 300 gold. Does he just not have the technology? Or is that how much he costs? No, 150 food, 225 gold, 8 favor. So he does get a little bit cheaper there. 9 villagers on favor right now, trying to get himself that bolt back as fast as possible. But the bottleneck here isn't the favor. He's going to be able to get that 50 favor in, 55 favor. The bottleneck is the time, as we do see him grabbing himself Aegis Shield. That's going to slow things down. But nonetheless, this will give Magic the time he needs to get himself to full population. As the army coming through, still has to deal with that Qinglong over here. Bronze does get dropped down onto this position here. The heroes will be going after the Qinglong here. Is Magic not pulling that one back just yet? The Peltast obviously going to be very, very powerful here as there's Yang Jian in getting damage done. We've got the Nejar in as well. And the thing is, these Pioneers here doing all of that divine damage, there's not a whole lot you can do against that either, as Kimo has to pull back. And where to next is the big question. Where to next? It's Kimo's fortress. Going to be going down. He has managed to catch Yang Jian out here in the middle of nowhere, but the damage is just not coming through as all those Opplies just getting obliterated there. The Peltas getting some good damage done. Bolt is on the cards here. If he wants to use that, he can. He's going to go back up to full HP. Bam. And Magic can now grab himself another town center. Taking down the Nejar isn't so hard. There's still no bolt onto him. He's not using. I thought that was the game plan, but maybe he's waiting for a restoration or something. But if he's not going to bolt this guy, he's just going to erase him. There's nothing he can do. And Kimo, well, Magic now going to grab that forward town center. It's looking like this game is slipping out of Kimo's grasp here. As the Qinglong falls, all the army falling over here as well. And in that moment, Kimo does tap out. And Magic gets the dub. GG, well played. I mean, looking at this game, you've just got to point to one thing and one thing only. Like, I mean, yes, you can say all of this stuff about how powerful China is. I'm with you. Obviously, this unit here, he needs a nerf. Look at him. He's walking around with this spear, and he barely has any armor on. Yet he's got 61% pierce on, 42% hack armor. He's got 788 HP. He's doing 38.8 damage per attack with 5 divine damage. And he's got 6 area of effect. That's the big one. Plus, he's got this gigantic heal. Right? I'm with ya. OP. But he's only available in the Mythic Age. And I guarantee you this game would not get to a Mythic Age here if Kimo had stayed one town center. He might have lost. He might have won. I don't know. I'm not saying either way, but I think if he stays one town center and he goes full aggression here, he's going to be able to keep Magic in the classical age, because Magic can't just grab this town center, secure this gold mine. Magic can't just grab this town center here. Even if he does, he can't get this gold mine because you're going to get pressured. So he wouldn't have any resources. He wouldn't be able to get that Mythic Age in, and you'd be completely fine here. Plus, you got restoration for dealing with Fey Beasts. There is no Fey Beasts against Fushi, so it doesn't even matter. So you got restoration yourself. There's this lightning weapons. You just run away from it, and then you fight when it's down. There are some angles here, I think, for Zeus, but Kimo does not go for it. We don't get to see those angles. And Magic gets the John Wick out, and he claims the dub. He also played a really, really nice early game. It was kind of cool to see those fire archers able to sort of space the town center, stay outside of range of town center, and snipe those farms. That was kind of cool. But nonetheless, if you guys enjoyed this one, don't forget to hit the follow button. Congratulations to Magic. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe. Appreciate all the support. And I'll see you guys in the next one, where we're going to be watching Kavoth playing Magic.